Lou Dort, child support, Lakers and 5. Dollar store, your mom's a hoe, Lakers and 5.
You have to have like 4 themes though, and then Lakers and 5,
No.
or at least 3.
No, 2.
No,
Because it's Lou Dort, child support, Lakers and 5. That's 2.
On his videos, he goes like this.
Yeah, but he's still missing one. You have to have 3.
No.
I don't make the rules, dude.
Oh my god.
You need one more.
Lakers and 5. See?
Lou Dort, child support, something. Ian Rappaport. There you go. That's a good one. Lou Dort, child support, Ian Rappaport, Lakers in 5.
3, 2. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another beautiful episode of the Sideline Podcast, episode 12. I'm once again here joined by Christopher. You know how it is.
Yo. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Sideline Podcast. Thank you all for joining us on this beautiful Sunday morning here in the Sun City of El Paso, Texas. How we all feeling today, Adam? Thank you for having me back on today.
I mean, I guess
feels
I
like
kind of
it's been
have to at this point. You know, it's just
yeah. I mean, I'll leave that up to you. I did sign a contract to be here, but anyways, we won't get into that. You can speak to my agent.
You can speak to my agent.
Anyways, guys, thank you all for being back. Thank you guys for showing love. It feels like we haven't recorded an episode in a while. Part of that is because the last episode was actually the 5-hour stream that Adam did for the draft. So shout out to Adam for that. That was a commendable feat of live stream production.
It was rough.
You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie. It was not all sunshine and rainbows.
No, it wasn't. And I really it was a surprise how long you went. And congratulations in all seriousness, because that is impressive. You did the whole first round live on YouTube, right?
Yes, on YouTube. You can find it live on YouTube right now.
I was in there for like 40 minutes before the stream, or like pre-stream, or I don't even know, like at the beginning of the draft.
You were there for like the first like 7 picks.
Yeah.
And then whenever the Panthers went on the clock is when you left.
Yeah. And then I came back, and I think there's still like 4 picks left when I got back.
No, yeah, like the last 3 or 4
yeah,
picks.
but I got in here and Adam looked like he was fucking running a fucking triathlon.
Triathlon.
Which you don't just run in a triathlon.
Yeah, no,
I
you
understand
swim
that,
and bike
okay?
too.
We get it, guys. You fucking YouTube keyboard warriors out there. But yeah, it was very impressive. That was you. That was cool. Shout out to you for that. And everyone who was in the comments in the stream, thank you guys. That was pretty cool. You even had someone call in. That was pretty.
We had
pretty
2
funny.
people call in actually.
That's what's up. So,
or was it 2 or 3? I don't remember if Ryan called in, but it was Jace, Ryan. I think I remember Ryan. I don't remember if I had him call in, and then we had Kai call in for the Chiefs. But the most surprising shock was the Bears. Go check that out. It's in the live stream. Pick 10 if you want to skip ahead. That one was pretty funny.
So today we're gonna talk some NBA, and then Adam wants to recap the NFL draft from the AFC side of the league. So we'll do that today, and then the NFC side will be for the next week's episode. Shout out to Blue for being here, guys. Shout out to Adam for helping to get the studio looking much more better than it was before. We're still working out the production things. We had a little mishap with the video right now. We're not going to get into that. But yeah, so let's get this podcast started. Before we do that, I'm going to do what we call the cracking of the celebratory beer. And it sounds like this.
That's pretty
Cheers,
nice.
everybody. Cheers to everybody that's joining us. Make sure you guys like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the button so that way every time we drop an episode, you will be first to get notified. We'll pop up in your little YouTube algorithm. And thank you guys for joining the Sideline Podcast here. Let's get into some NBA talk. Adam, we do have the first round of the NBA Finals ending today. With the Warriors and the Rockets later on tonight, which we'll get into that in a little bit. But recap us on the series that have gone final. Who's already in the next round? Let's hear a little bit about that, Adam.
Yeah, so we have, like you said, the Warriors and the Rockets closing us out in the first round tonight. By the time you're hearing this, the game will probably already start. So just so you know that we recorded this beforehand. We don't know the outcome of that game yet. What's your prediction real quick? Just a real quick. Warriors,
it's hard,
Rockets.
man.
I know you're a Warriors fan.
I'm a Warriors fan, so I'm going to choose the Warriors because why would I be a fucking Warriors fan and not choose them?
No, that's fair. I mean, but sometimes you just know that your team's going to lose. Like, sometimes that's the harsh reality.
Yeah, but we don't know that today.
No, you're right. I'm just saying, like, sometimes that's the harsh reality. Like, I'm not saying that is the reality.
This is a 7-game series. It's literally gone three games each.
Yeah.
And the Warriors have looked better in some games. The Rockets have looked better in others. It's been kind of a competitive series in a way, but there has been some blowout wins on both sides. So with that being said, I do think that Game 7 Steph will come out to play tonight. A lot of people don't understand that he is kind of nursing like a thumb injury. For a shooter, that's a pretty big deal.
Did you see that picture of him with his thumb swumbled?
Yeah,
like when he's coming off the plane.
Yeah, when I think he's walking to or from the plane, and you can see like his thumb's all like fucking fat. But anyways, I'm going with the Warriors. Hopefully the supporting cast will step up today. We need Jimmy, we need Pods, we need everybody, we need Looney, we need Moody, we need the whole run of the Golden State roster to really step up and make their shots today. And they also need to contain Fred VanVleet because he's been going absolutely crazy. And then also just doing what they can with Elfrid Sengun, 22-year-old center from Turkey that is really...
Did you say Alfred?
Alfred.
It's Alprin.
Alprin? It's with a pre, you know? With a P?
With a pre?
Yeah, Alprin.
Alprin.
Yeah, Sengun.
Unless it is pronounced friend, but I'm pretty sure it's Alprin.
I mean, he's from Turkey, so not a lot of us are,
That's true.
Avid Turkish speakers here. But yeah, he's very impressive in what he's been able to do. The problems that he's been given to the Warriors with their lack of a really like dominant big man. That's why you're seeing Sengun have his way offensively with the Warriors, but it's still going to be a very good game tonight. I'm hoping that the Warriors pull it out, but regardless, the NBA playoffs has been very exciting for me. I really like the NBA more than almost any other sport, and the playoffs really show you why, just night in and night out having these competitive games. But yeah, like any series that stood out to you, obviously the Lakers and the fucking the T-Wolves series was very good, very interesting to see LeBron and Luka go down like that. But on the other side, any other series that you saw that you were like, oh, shocked by the result?
Yeah, well, I mean, in the West, we had the Thunder taking care of the Grizzlies in 4, which everybody really expected. At the end of the day, we had the Wolves taking care of the Lakers in 5, which was probably my most shocking results when it came to the first round.
Right.
The Nuggets took care of the Clippers in 7. I had that series going to 7, but I actually had the Clippers taking it in 7, so I was wrong on that. Cavs take care of the Heat in 4, which everybody also expected. Boston take care of Magic in 5. I thought that was going to be a sweep, but I guess not. Pacers took care of the Bucks in 5, which was also shocking, but it wasn't so shocking after you realize that Dame was rushed back after his blood clots, and then he tore his Achilles in the second to last game of the series.
Yeah, you hate to see that.
Yeah, and then the Knicks take care of the Pistons in 6, and I'm a huge Jalen Brunson fan, so I'm really glad that the Knicks were able to take care of the Pistons because towards the back end of that stretch of series, the Pistons looked like they were starting to catch fire. So if it went to Game 7, I would have been like really scared for the Knicks. But Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns proved to be too much for that young, talented roster that they really have in Detroit. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. It was just that they're not really experienced the way Jalen Brunson is and Karl Anthony Towns is because they've been in the league for almost 10 years each now.
Yeah, but I mean, you see the promise that like a team like the Pistons, even Orlando, yeah, you get fucking one win in your series, but that's a very young team, and for them to still be competitive and not really get destroyed or blown out like how people would think, but it really shows you that the talent pool in the NBA is really expanding, and you have just a bunch of young guys scattered throughout the league that are really, really good and that are making these teams like the Pistons. The Pistons have been historically bad recently. And now they have some hope. You know, they got Cade Cunningham, they got Malik Beasley, they got Jalen Duren. They have a very solid lineup. But yeah, very surprising with some of those results. The Luka and LeBron one's probably the one that stands out the most. Also with Giannis and the Bucks, now that Lillard is probably not going to play next season because of you never know. He might come back. Who knows? But usually Achilles will put you out for like a year. And that's going to make the storyline of Giannis sticking around in Milwaukee more interesting. Does he get lured away to another team because of this? Do you think he goes somewhere else? I think so. I think you don't think he waits around for Dame to come back?
No. Think he's off?
No. I just think like at some point, I mean, think of Giannis. He's been in the league forever. He's been loyal to the Bucks.
Right. I mean, he's been in the league since what, like 13?
And yeah, at some point, he's going to want to see what it's like to be with another organization. I would think so.
Right.
And we'll see if that happens. It'd be very interesting to see where he would land. But it's crazy that you're already seeing storylines develop in the offseason, and we're not even finished with the first round of the playoffs, which is pretty fucking crazy. But NBA playoffs, guys, my favorite time of the year. Perfect if you're into doing any sort of parlay gambling through Prize Picks or Underdog. They have a bunch of promos going on, so if you want to get in there, try to make some money. Every night there's games, so always something to bet on, which, I really enjoy the league with it or without it, but it just makes watching the games a little bit more fun when you have some stake in it yourself. So.
Yeah, it makes you want to watch the game more because you're like, okay, I need Luka to get 25 points because his line is 24.
I need Moses Moody with one goddamn rebound. Anyways,
dude, that was so funny the other day.
Yeah,
let's not talk about the losses.
Yeah, we're not talking about the losses. But anyways, guys, gamble responsibly. Only gamble what you can afford to lose. But yeah, maybe at the end of the episode here, we'll throw a little parlay out for one of the games that starts tomorrow, which we'll see what the lines are. Maybe we'll do that. But NBA playoffs, guys, like I said, super exciting. The one thing I will say about LeBron is I do not think LeBron and Luka together is going to work. Just
you don't
based
think it's
on
going to work at all?
No, just based on their play style. They both play.
What do you mean by work though? Because like they were the number 3 seed at the end of the day, so
Right.
it's like clearly something worked, but you don't see them winning a championship, is what you mean?
Yeah, I don't see like them being able to make a run through the playoffs, and because. And I'm going to sound like an idiot because I do not think that LeBron works best when his number 2 option is a point guard. And I've said that before, that when you have 2 point guards, you really don't have one because you have 2 guys that play the same position.
Yeah, but like in Cleveland, I mean, he had Kyrie.
Yeah, he had Kyrie, which is
and then you have like D-Wade in Miami.
Right, but D-Wade is not a point guard; he's a shooting guard, and then you had Chris Bosh as a 4. So what I'm saying is, literally, when the second option is a point guard that plays the same position as LeBron, and no, they don't play the same position. I understand that. But LeBron is your point guard when he's on any team, really. And so, yes, it worked with Kyrie. That was a one-off. It only happened once. And then after that, they split up anyway. So, I mean, they got the ship for Cleveland, but after that, they parted ways. And I don't think that even if Luka and LeBron remain on the same page or on the same team in LA, I don't think that next year they have a different outcome than this. And simply for LeBron, the reason I say that it's not a success is because at his age, every year is to win a championship. And if he doesn't get the championship, then it's a failure in his eyes, not necessarily as for the whole team or the organization or for Luka. It's just in LeBron's situation because of where he's at in his career.
Right. I mean, because like if you look at Luka's success over the 6, 7 years now that he's been in the league, I mean, he's produced not only numbers, but even postseason success. He was in the finals last year.
Right.
So clearly, I mean, he's not a failure, and neither is LeBron, because LeBron has only missed the playoffs, maybe like twice ever?
Like once.
Yeah. I think that was with the Lakers just recently back in like 2021, right after the championship, I think. But when you're talking about LeBron, I guess what you're trying to say is like you said, if there's no championship, that means that season was a failure. Because when you're 40 years old, you're just looking for a ring. You're not looking for rebuilding a whole team for the next 10 years, rather than like when you have somebody like Luka who you can build the franchise around for the foreseeable future, or even like Shea in Oklahoma. So
yeah, all I'm saying is the goalposts are different. That's
yeah,
all
and
I'm
then
saying.
you're not saying like it's not necessarily the position. It's more of like Luka being an alpha and LeBron also being an alpha, because both of those guys can take over a game any given minute. Like they can, as long as they have the ball in their hands, they can take over the game.
Right, but that's the key, is they have to have the ball in their hands.
Right, and they obviously both can't have the ball in their hands at the same time.
And they're not complementary players. What I say by that is that off the ball, they're not going to give you much because that's not their play style. Like, if
they're not like setting screens and
or just cutting and moving, and like if you look at like the Warriors, right? Like not this year.
I mean, they're floor managers. That's what they are.
Right, exactly. And so when you have 2 of those, it's not as successful as when you have someone like Steph, who's number 2 for the long time would be Clay. But if you look at their play styles, Clay is a knockdown shooter. He's going to play some D. He can move without the ball.
Right,
He
he'll
doesn't
stand
have
on the wing or
Right.
on the corner and knock down a three in a given second.
Right, and that's the complement to Steph, ball handling, drawing all the defenses, getting multiple double teams ran out at him. And so that's what I mean, complementary basketball. And I don't think Luka and LeBron together, on
Win the
paper, it looks
championship.
good. It looks good on paper. You would think,
Right.
okay, two best players in arguably the league, they should be able to get it done, but their play styles are too similar, and I think that was ultimately their undoing. That and then their lack of a big man on the offensive and defensive side of the
So
ball.
then this coming off season, you think they go and get a big man, or you think they run it back with the same squad and just hope for the best?
No, you have to go and make some sort of adjustment. And LeBron, every year that he's on a team, he's going to shuffle the roster. That's just how it happens.
Right. I mean, when you're 40 and you're in the GOAT conversation, whether you believe he's the GOAT or not, you're going to have some sort of
Hand
Yeah,
and the
you're
way your
gonna have
organization moves your roster.
right.
around.
You're gonna get who you want. And do you think he wanted Luka, or do you think that was all like front office management stuff?
Well, for sure they talked to him about it, so he wasn't opposed. But I think he even thought too, like, okay, Luka comes in here, he's going to be the main.
But
like,
at the loss of AD, which was your big, which is what you were saying, like you
Right.
think he works better with a big
right.
rather than
I think
another.
I think he undervalued what AD brought to the team, and he thought that him and Luka alone would be able to kind of make up for the difference that they would lose when not having a big man. But you saw it right away. And then a lot of it, too, was the matchup with the Timberwolves. I mean, you have Rudy Gobert, who's one of the most talented big men in the league.
Yeah, in the last game, he had like a 27-point, 24-rebound game.
Yeah,
Like, he
so
just went off.
he just dominates the paint offensively, defensively, and I think the matchup was unfavorable for them. And then Cat just doing,
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards doing what he does. It just really, it's hard to stop. And then all their complementary pieces as well. You saw Naz Reid have some good games. But yeah, I mean, the matchup was not favorable. And then, like I said, the styles of play didn't match. And that's why you see the Lakers out in 5 games. Shout out to also the Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers for knocking out the Bucks in 5 as well. But
a
yeah,
shame.
what a first round, huh? What a first round.
I'm like I said, I'm really glad the Knicks took care of the Pistons because I was getting scared there. I don't like the Pistons, and I really like Jalen Brunson, so it was a perfect match made in heaven for me.
But yeah, guys, watch some NBA if you're not watching. You're missing out.
So second round predictions. Who do you have taking a chip?
How about we just focus on getting through today? Because
All right,
if
that's
things
fair.
go bad, I might be MIA for the next 2-3 days.
If you haven't caught on, Chris is a Warriors fan, so if the Warriors lose, you may not see him on the next episode.
Dub
Or-
Nation, let's go.
Dub Nation. All right, you ready to get into some NFL?
Yeah, real fast before we do that, I just wanted to say, guys, we do play 2K in this household. So something that I was thinking about is maybe we run like a 2K tournament with some of the fans, some of our viewers
That would be
here.
pretty
If
cool.
you guys are down, you guys like to talk a lot of shit in the
Like
comments.
on a live stream would be pretty.
Yeah, that's what I'm
badass.
saying. We would like
Yeah.
stream it somehow. That would be cool. So
That would be
something to
nice.
think about. If you guys would be down to play some 2K with us, put it in the comments. Let us know. And also, guys, if you guys think any of my takes are ass or trash, let me know so we can
Dude,
find
they're
it out.
going at you in the comments on
That's
the
fine.
shorts.
I like that.
And it's like, obviously they're taken out of context, but like that's the whole point. Like somebody was like, "Oh, you're just clip farming," and I'm like, "Isn't that the whole point of like TikTok?"
That's what a
and the
YouTube
shorts?
short is
Yeah,
for.
like you literally clip the podcast. Like I'm not gonna post the podcast again on a short.
How long is the short? Like the length? Like the max?
I think my longest one was like 38 seconds. Or
Yeah,
something
yeah, yeah.
Like that.
So, if you only have a minute, right, you're gonna try to look for the most interesting part of the conversation.
right, obviously. And then I literally snapped back at him. I'm like, isn't that the whole point of like TikTok and YouTube shorts? Like I get it when you're just making YouTube shorts and TikTok content, then obviously you want all the content in 30 seconds. But like we're clipping a podcast to promote it. Like
We're
that's
clipping
literally
an
the whole
hour and
point.
a half podcast and trying to get you a good minute out of it. And
Right. I
just
mean, we
posting
record
that.
for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, 5-hour live stream. So it's like, I'm not going to post it again as a TikTok. Like you're going to get 30 seconds of something that I saw that may be interesting and eye catching.
But yeah, anyways, if you guys want to fight with me in the comments, please at me. I'm down.
Yeah. At Chris, at me.
I love
I'll fight you too.
I love a verbal sparring match on YouTube. It's really one of my funnest pastimes in my
A
life.
verbal sparring match.
Yeah, dude, because that's all it is. I mean, we're not going to link up and fight unless you want to, but that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, I mean, shout out, guys, for everyone who does comment on and likes our videos or our shorts, because that really does help promote the page, promote the podcast and everything. And then I think I saw that the episode before the draft one got over like 100 views, so that's good.
Yeah, I got up to 107 views. So thank you guys.
Those YouTube shorts are engaging people and getting them to come see the podcast. So shout out to you guys for following us, liking us, subscribe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube.
Make sure you hit that bell too for all the notifications, so you get notified when we drop, whether it's a full length episode or whether it's clip farming that you guys call it. So, but yeah, I'm ready to get into some NFL VUR.
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's do that. Go ahead and open that NFL vault of yours that we dive into, and it gets scary in here sometimes, guys. But yeah, so this week we're recapping the the draft from the AFC side of the league, and then next episode we will recap the draft from the NFC side of the league. But yeah, so where do you want to start with this? You get a little crazy with your notes, I'll tell you that, but I don't know. I'll leave that up to you. Yeah, you're like that one kid in school that was like, can I borrow your notes? And you're like, no, dude, these are mine. You do them yourself.
No,
like, you
I
know
was
what I mean?
not like that. If anything, I stole other people's notes.
I feel like he's I don't know. I feel like I get teacher's pet vibes from this guy. I don't know about you guys.
You know what? I used to be like that. Then towards the end of like my high school and then like starting college, I'm like, I really don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't care less.
Yeah. I feel like teacher's pet vibes, for real. Anyways.
All right, let's get into it. So, like Chris said, we are going to be recapping the AFC side of the draft, which is going to include North, South, East, West. And we're going to be mostly talking about skill positions. We're going to talk about everybody that they drafted, but we're going to be going more into depth simply on skill positions because, you know, nobody really wants to get into depth on offensive tackles, defensive ends. We're going to be going into depth about running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, quarterbacks, mainly for fantasy purposes. Who are our biggest losers? Who are our biggest winners? A big winner right off the bat, I'll say, we're going to get into it. A big winner was Shedeur Sanders in my eyes, but we will get into that right now. And a big loser was actually Najee Harris from the Chargers. So let's get into it with the AFC North, starting with the Browns. They had 7 picks. 2 were on defense, 5 were on offense. We had Quinshawn Judkins, Harold Fannin Jr., Dylan Gabriel, Dylan Sampson, and Shedeur Sanders. So the Browns, all 5 of these offensive picks were really great for their team, I believe, except maybe one of them, which was Dylan Gabriel. So Quinshawn Judkins, running back out of Ohio State, he was the second, or no, was he? Yeah, he was the second running back taken from that squad. So I think it's really good because they already wrote off Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is gone from the Browns. He's not going to re-sign with them. Everybody can clearly see that after them taking 2 running backs, because they also took the running back from Tennessee, which is Dylan Sampson. So now they have their brand new 1-2 punch. So I think this is great for fantasy purposes. I think Quinshawn is going to be the bell cow for the most part. So look for him in fantasy drafts, possibly later rounds for redraft. For startups, for Dynasty, I think he's going to go fairly early. Harold Fanning Jr., the tight end from Bowling Green, it's rough, his positioning, simply because he is going to sit behind David Njoku, which is rough for his production, but for the foreseeable future, if they don't restructure Njoku's contract or if they don't extend him, I think this is a really great draft pick. And then they got 2 quarterbacks in the draft, Chris. This is what really surprised everybody, was them taking Dylan Gabriel. And then a round later, they take Shedeur Sanders. Why do you think they did that?
Well, hold on. Before we do that, Nick Chubb, I love you, man. You know what I mean? He was.
There's rumors that he might sign with the Cowboys.
I don't know, but I'm just like saying, like he had a lot of fantasy relevance for a long time.
He did. He really
on a
did.
Team that really had no business having any fantasy relevance. So shout out to Nick Chubb. He didn't get any of the love that I think he deserves. Partially because he's with the Browns, but
right.
One of the only running backs that you'll see run without gloves on, which is kind of crazy.
That is true.
But yeah, shout out to Nick Chubb. I love you, my brother. I'll have a quarter Chubb on for you at all times.
Yeah.
Anyways, the whole 2 quarterback thing is interesting because if you have Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur, you're honestly going to have like a straight up quarterback competition straight from your first OTA. And then I do think
How
I don't
awkward
know.
do you think that locker room is right now?
What?
Okay, technically.
Yeah, but no, I don't think it's awkward. I mean, it's kind of like
I think it's awkward.
steel sharpens steel. You know what I mean? So you want to have
I don't know if
competition.
I would call Dylan Gabriel steel sharpening steel.
Well, yeah, but any quarterback for the Browns is like you can't like
They're like
it's
bronze.
right. But I mean, you're still sharpening something, right?
I guess, yeah.
I think
Well, he's like copper. He like fades away.
it's
like,
probably better
more
that
he
Sanders
wears down.
has some sort of competition than if he was just to walk in and be the day one starter.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's going to have Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett to compete with in that locker room, too. And then you also got Dylan Gabriel. Then you add Shador Sanders.
I like Dylan Gabriel too, by the way.
I don't.
I really think he did
He's
well.
undersized. He's a lefty.
That's why I like him. I like
It's literally a
left-handed
left-handed
quarterbacks.
Kyler Murray.
Well, I mean, that's
And I'm not a huge fan on Kyler Murray.
yeah,
So-
but that's easy to say now, but we don't know what he's going to turn into.
You're right. He could be day one starter. I think day one starter is Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, probably just because I mean he's been around and he's
Right.
probably your safe bet. But I mean, sometimes like especially if you're the Browns, I saw some crazy stat that they have had like 50 quarterbacks since they joined the NFL.
It's ridiculous.
And so
Probably more.
why not just take another gamble on another quarterback, because you never know which one can work out. And then if you pass on him and then he goes somewhere and does well, then it's like, hey, you had a chance at him. But yeah, the Browns, obviously it's tough, but like I said, you want to just fill that quarterback room and see what you have. You know what I mean? Like it's not like they took these guys in the first 3 rounds.
So would you be? I know this might be like a stupid question, but would you be looking for Shador in fantasy
No.
if he starts?
Well, yeah, but we're not going to know that for a while.
Right, you won't know that. But let's say you found out today that he's going to be the starter day one.
Like let's say he's going to come in week 6 and start. I'm going to say that no, you still have to have some reserve on him until you see him actually produce.
Well, like okay, so Quinshon Judkins, I'd be looking for it, right?
Well, yeah, but that's different. Like the running back position's different.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So then, does this mean good or bad for the passing attack in Cleveland? Would you be looking for the passing attack in Cleveland? Because of
besides Njoku, no.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I completely agree with that. Let's move on to the.
But like I said, it's the Browns though. That's the part.
Yeah.
That's just like it's almost like I've said this before. There's certain teams that you kind of try to stay away from, except for like 1 or 2 players that you know should have production no matter what. But I mean, like I guess, yeah. You see, even like in a startup like dynasty league, like are you really gonna take Shador or Dylan Gabriel? No.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You know, so I mean, it's just too early to call. But I'm surprised they only had 7 picks. That's like
Well, I feel like 7 is pretty decent.
Well,
But
no, but I mean, like the Raiders had 11, the Bills had 9. Like 7 picks is like not. The Patriots had 11 too. But yeah, you would think the Browns would have more capital than that, but you can see that they don't really know too much of how to run a franchise over there. Anyways,
all right. Anyways, Bengals. They had 6 picks, 3 offense, 3 defense. I think the Bengals drafted great. I think they were not the best, but I think they did great simply for fantasy purposes. They didn't mess with any fantasy relevancy when it comes to Jamar Chase or T. Higgins or even
if anything, they just kind of helped Joe Burrow's line.
yeah, I mean
know what I
they
mean?
drafted 2 offensive guards, one from Georgia, one from Miami, Dylan Fairchild and Jalen Rivers. And then I believe it was a 7th round pick, Taj Brooks, running back out of Texas Tech. Early in the season, he was actually on Mel Kiper's big board. And after the season went on, it's not necessarily that he fell. It's that there was a lot of running backs that just went over him.
Did he get hurt at all?
No, you know what? He might have.
I thought he got picked up some sort of injury that kind of slowed him down a little.
No, you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think he did because I think he still had like 1,500 rushing yards at Texas Tech this past season, which is really great. I mean, he holds the title for the most rushing yards at Texas Tech in a career.
But like, okay, like a team like Cincinnati, like you could see them making the smart picks, right?
Right.
Because it's not like they went out and got another wide receiver or something.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So they have Chase Brown in the backfield, and everybody was very skeptical on whether or not they were going to draft a running back with high capital. And usually when you draft a 7th round running back, it's more for depth rather than using him as a bell cow or to take the starting position of the guy you already have there. So clearly they have some confidence in Chase Brown to take Taj Brooks way in the 7th round. So whether he fell that far and they were just like, you know what, this is a great running back, maybe we can use him as as a. I think the only thing that scares me is he might be like a goal line back, and that could take away a lot of touchdown work from Chase Brown. So that could be something to look out for. But if you're a Chase Brown manager, I think you're really happy. If you're a T. Higgins manager, if you're a Joe Burrow manager, if you're a Jamar Chase manager, I think all those guys are set and they're ready to go for the next season. And I think you should absolutely be looking for all of them. Even Mike Gesicki too, which is the tight end there. They signed him to an extension and they didn't draft a tight end. So I think that offense is going to be primed up and ready to go for next season without any hiccups, unless there's injuries. You never know. You got something there? I thought you were looking at something.
Zach Moss, running back for the Bengals too.
Yeah, he was brought from
Samaje Perine still on the roster too.
Is he really?
Yeah,
I thought he went
They
away.
actually have like five backs.
Zach Moss was with the Colts. He backed up Jonathan Taylor, and when he got hurt, he was actually pretty relevant. But aside from that, he's not good enough to be the one, especially behind like Jonathan Taylor or ahead of Jonathan Taylor.
They
Chase
also
Brown.
have a Kendall Milton from Georgia, which I've never heard of that guy.
No clue.
And
who
then
that
they
is.
have another running back that I saw. His name is so that running back room is crowded there.
Yeah, but those
Gary
are
Brightwell from Arizona.
those are
another
mainly
running back.
depth pieces. I don't think anybody's going to take away Chase Brown's starting position. I think if anybody has the or the chance to, it'll be Taj Brooks because on film he's very talented, but he's kind of just like I don't know. His ball vision is not great. He doesn't know when to bounce out of the tackles.
Taj Brooks is actually unsigned right now as a draft pick.
Well, yeah, I mean, technically, a lot of the draft picks are unsigned because
but
they haven't signed their official rookie contracts.
But that means that they'll have about 6 running backs in the room.
They'll cut about 3 of them by the start of the season.
So
it'll be Zach Moss, it'll be Taj Brooks, it'll be Chase Brown.
But yeah, interesting roster for the Bengals here at running back. But yeah, I think like you said, Chase Brown, he's going to be more of your pass catching running back. And when you get in the red zone, he's probably not going to be the main option as a running back because of the guys we mentioned. But I think fantasy wise, he's still no negative impact to his output.
No negative impact to the Bengals offense, which is great. So the Steelers would be next. They had 7 picks, 5 defense, 2 on offense. The 2 on offense actually shocked a lot of people. They were another team that passed up on Jalen Milroe. They were another team that passed up on Shedeur Sanders. And those were 2 big names that were potential landing spots for these guys or for the Steelers. So they took Caleb Johnson, running back out of Iowa. Great pick by them. And then they took Will Howard, quarterback from Ohio State. Not such a great pick. Will Howard could. I mean, he did win the Natty. So people are kind of high on him. He has very mixed feelings when it comes to like people on social media. There's a lot of people saying like, why would you draft him? And then there's a lot of people saying, well, he won a national title. I mean, why would you not draft him? Like he was the steal of the draft.
No surprise the Steelers drafting 5 picks on defense.
Yeah, dude, that's
like a standard Steelers move.
It's the definition of a Steelers draft. You take 5 defensive guys and 2 offensive guys when you clearly have more questions on offense than you do on defense.
Yeah, but that's always been their mentality. Let's just have a really good defense and we'll figure it out offensively.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember Ryan Shazier? R.I.P.
Yeah.
Ryan Shazier. He almost got paralyzed. He took a big hit.
He
was in a wheelchair.
But he's
for a
not
long
dead,
time.
is he?
No, he's not dead.
Why'd you RIP him?
I mean, like his career is over.
I know, but
RIP.
we've known that.
I just say that all the time. I'm like, oh, RIP so and so.
He dug up somebody's NFL grave and
because like I was gonna go on like a little rant about their defense, like their stars that they've had throughout the years, and Ryan Shazier was the first name that came up.
Wow, that says a lot about you.
What? How does that say a lot about me? I like Ryan Shazier. He was a good player. He was
couldn't
a good linebacker.
say Troy Polamalu or anything.
Well, yeah, I mean Troy Polamalu. I was gonna get to him.
He has to go Ryan Shazier.
I mean, they've had T.J. Watt in recent memory.
Yeah.
T.J. Watt's still on the team.
Yeah, R.I.P. Ryan Shazier. Apparently, he's dead.
So, okay, Caleb Johnson, I think this is great for fantasy. He's going to be the bell cow. I don't think Jalen Warren gets the work. I think everybody was kind of excited for Jalen Warren, and they were hoping that the Steelers wouldn't take a running back. And if they did, it was going to be a late-round running back. But that was not the case. I believe Caleb Johnson was drafted in the 2nd round, if you want to fact-check me on that really quick. But Caleb Johnson, running back out of Iowa, he's very talented. He doesn't have to change his color scheme. There's yellow and black, so that's great. He looks like a bumblebee anyway. He doesn't.
I love how that's important to you.
I mean, yeah. Like, have you noticed that happens like more often than not? Like teams with the same color scheme will draft the players with the same color scheme.
I think you're.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, you're just tripping though.
You think
Like,
I'm tripping? Do you think that's like too far fetched?
Yes, I think
You
it's
think
just,
you don't think they looked at this guy and they're like,
No.
well, we don't have to imagine him in Steelers uniforms because he's already got the colors on him.
no. That's just pure coincidence. If you're drafting based, this guy he wears our colors already, dude. That's the dumbest thing ever.
He wears our color. We don't have to imagine him in our uniforms. He's
he
already
was
in
a
it.
round 3 pick.
Round 3. Okay, that's my
Pick
bad.
83.
But yeah.
That was a bad take. You were reaching on that one, bro. He's like, do you think if they go to like a school with the same colors as us, that's like an automatic like
I
pick,
feel like
dude?
it happens more often than it should.
Yeah, but I mean, there's only so many colors that teams use. I mean, like, it's just a far-fetched take. Anyways, not much else to say about the Steelers. Like we said, loading up on defense, typical Steeler thing to do.
Typical Steelers fashion.
Moving on to the Ravens, 11 picks.
Dude,
That's a
they
lot
had
of
a
picks.
haul, and I feel like they have nothing to talk about. Like, again, another Ravens draft. 6 defense, 1 special teams, 4 offense. So they're one
And
special
out of the
teams.
4 offensive, 3 on the line.
Yeah, I mean, they took
So-
2 tackles and 1 guard.
But that's good, though. I mean, like I said,
Well, their 1 special teams pick was actually a kicker, so this could be the potential release of Justin Tucker after everything that was going on with the allegations on him.
yeah, I mean, at some point you have to move on. But I feel like you can find kickers like
I mean, plus he is getting
free
older.
agents.
I mean, he missed a lot of kicks last year that he shouldn't have. He should be automatic on these, and he was just whiffing on them.
yeah. But yeah, 11 picks is crazy, man.
Yeah, 11
6
picks,
on
and
defense,
yet we
4
have
on
nothing
offense.
to talk about. Like, we could move on to the next team, and nobody would care. They
Well,
took
no,
one wide
let's-
receiver.
yeah.
I mean, out of Colorado, LeJonte Wester.
Yeah, he was solid.
I don't even remember him on the
Yeah,
field.
he would play. He was like their slot receiver, and he would get a lot of targets because Colorado would just throw the ball so much. But he's going to be a developmental piece. He probably won't see a lot of the field right away. And then the Ravens, their wide receivers are like they kind of just throw anybody in there, and they kind of just like see who works. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they don't
I
have
mean-
like a definitive like number 1 year in and year out.
Same thing as wow, I blanked so hard. Same thing as the Bengals. That was like an awkward pause.
This guy just fucking had a software update mid sentence.
Same thing as the Bengals. They didn't really touch anything that shouldn't have been touched on offense. Mark Andrews is still their tight end. They didn't trade him when there was rumors that they might trade him on draft night, but that didn't happen. They keep Zay Flowers. They don't really touch the receiving core, so Rashad Bateman could still be a heavy workload when it comes to touchdowns because that's what he was last year. And then Derrick Henry is obviously going to be your bell cow in the back.
Just sprucing up that line.
Yeah,
for Derek
I mean that offensive line just got stronger, and even if they're not starters, they're depth pieces, and depth pieces on the line are always great to have because offensive linemen and defensive linemen go down more than we would like to see in the NFL, and it's a shame because your backups might allow more sacks. They might not close those or open those gaps for your running backs, which hurts the value on them. So they go unnoticed, but we notice them here. We notice them here.
Yeah, I mean, when people are rolling into you all the time, of course you're going to get hurt at some point.
Yeah. So
Moving on to the AFC South here, you have the Titans who were actually the number 1 pick in the draft, and they went Cam Ward like everybody knew they were going to. 9
that was
picks
like
in
a
total,
freebie.
3 on defense, 6 on offense. Anybody
Yeah,
else that stands out from the picks that the Titans ended up with?
honestly, not from the draft. They actually did pick up right after the draft Xavier Restrepo. He was his main target in Miami. And they were
Cam Ward's main target.
Cam Ward's main target, but he went undrafted because of his 40 time. I think he ran like a 5.4 as a wide receiver, which was like
That's wild.
extremely alarming. But when you see him on game film, like he does not look like 5.4 speed. He looks like a 4.5 or 4.4 or 4.3. Like he's fast on the field. So I don't know if he just had a bad combine or if he had a bad pro day or whatever
maybe
it was.
he's
Maybe
nursing
he pulled
something.
his hammy that week, like maybe he cramped up. You don't know what it is, but that was the most alarming thing, and that's why he went undrafted.
One of the notable picks from the Titans, Gunnar Helm, wide receiver, tight end from Texas.
Oh, yeah.
He did show some flashes. I think The skill position players from Texas, specifically the wide receivers and the tight ends, I think they kind of had a downtick in their production because of the way Quinn Ewers played this year. I didn't think he was as productive as he could have been, and it'll be interesting to see how the wide receivers and tight ends from Texas do this year, because Archie Manning is supposed to be the number one there at Texas now. So going forward, if Archie Manning is better than Quinn Ewers, you might see that these guys, the wide receivers and tight ends from Texas, will go higher in the subsequent draft, because Quinn Ewers didn't help anyone on that team.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. We had Shimmeray Dyke. I did not make that name up. Wide receiver out of Florida. We also had Alik Avomanor, wide receiver out of Stanford. Dude, did they just like draft people based off of their last names? And they're like, let's take the guy with the most complicated last name, like Avomanor, and
let's give our team announcers a headache.
Yeah, basically. And then like they have their tight end Chigokonkwo. Like, are you just drafting based off of last name at this point?
I mean, then sometimes you do that. You know, you're like, that's a good football name right there.
I mean, maybe they got Jackson Slater, guard out of Sacramento State, and they got Khalil Mullings, running back out of Michigan. So nothing here really scares me when it comes to the offensive production. I think the Titans have I wouldn't say weapons, but they have they have the weapons that Cam Ward needs to, I guess,
potentially be successful.
Yeah, potentially be successful. And I wouldn't say thrive, because they don't have like the biggest names. They don't have a Tyreek Hill, and they don't have a Derrick Henry in the backfield.
Titans don't have much of anything, which is why they drafted where they drafted.
Damn, I just said that they don't have a Derrick Henry in the backfield, and I just realized that obviously Derrick Henry came from the Titans.
No, but like,
I didn't do that on purpose.
But one of the things that you'll see is that, okay, they realize we got a number one pick here. We're going quarterback. Let's get as many skill receivers or skill position players as possible to just make our roster that much better. And maybe, they probably missed out on some needs, but I mean, if they want Cam Ward to have the best possibility of being successful, then you have to surround him with some talent.
Right.
And I think they did what they could.
Yeah, you still have Tony Pollard in the backfield, and
TP.
Huh?
TP.
Oh,
sorry. Big Tony
Pollard. Did you just have to get that out of the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Tony Pollard was with the Cowboys, obviously.
Yeah, he's a Cowboy.
So he should have stayed with the Cowboys.
Once a Cowboy, always a Cowboy, baby. DC for life.
All right, buddy. Relax.
Dub Nation, stand up.
All right. Anyways, Tony Pollard in the backfield. I think he'll be great again for fantasy this season. Calvin Ridley, I think he'll also be okay. I don't know about great. I think he'll be okay at least. And then Chigokonkwo as a tight end, we would have to see how he would pan out, because I think Chigokonkwo is very talented. It's just a matter of if Cam Ward gets him the ball or not. So, I mean, we have talented tight ends in the league all the time, and it's just a matter of if the quarterback gets them the ball. Sometimes quarterbacks love their tight ends, sometimes they don't. That's just the fact of the matter of the fact.
If there's a parlay line on Cam Ward interceptions for the season, whatever it's at,
okay, wait,
I'm going over.
You think so?
Yes, he's going to throw the ball a lot.
Really? Yes. I don't think so. I actually think the opposite, because I took a line on him for the season already, and I have him under 3,200 passing yards.
Well, no, I'm just going on his interceptions over.
Okay, so if his line was...
it's going to be Jameis Winston-esque.
No way.
Yes,
No.
Yes,
okay,
yes,
so
yes,
if his line was at 14.5, you're taking the over.
That's a little high. I was thinking like 11 and a half, 12.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think 12 is reasonable for a rookie quarterback that doesn't have a supporting cast.
But because he's going to throw so much, that's why I think that there's a possibility for it to be higher.
Okay, so if the line was 11.5?
Over. 14's hard.
So?
I would take it and just like pray to God. You know, just
pray to God that he'd throw a pick.
Yeah.
Dude,
well, because he's gonna throw picks.
Yeah, but I think if he has that many picks, he's gonna get benched.
No, because he's
look
got
at
a leash.
Will Levis was throwing a pick every week. And
but he wasn't the number one pick. You get a leash when you're the number one pick.
Wasn't Will Levis a first rounder?
I know, but it's a first rounder and the number one overall are not the same. They're not, and it's Will Levis. You know what I mean? Like he's like they were already like When you're consensus number one, where everybody knows you're number one, then you have a longer leash than most players.
Will Levis was the first pick of the second round.
Yeah, you see, not even a first rounder. But anyways, he's gonna throw picks. That's all I'm saying. So let's move on to the Jaguars here. Travis Hunter.
The Jaguars actually traded up from pick 5 to pick 2 with the Browns, and they took Travis Hunter, cornerback / wide receiver out of Colorado, and that's the big storyline in Jacksonville now is whether he's going to play both sides of the ball or not. And I don't remember who exactly came out talking for the Jags, but they said that they were going to find a way for him to play both sides of the ball. And they already said that right off the get-go. So it's just a matter of if he produces or not on both sides of the ball, or if they actually go through with it. Maybe he's only going to be a corner. Maybe he's only going to be a wide receiver. I think I would prefer to him be a wide receiver and be a second option for Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, having Brian Thomas Jr., I don't think that scares me. I think it scares me, obviously, from Brian Thomas Jr. being a 1,600-yard receiver, because I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to throw 5,000 yards in the season and 1,600 is going to go to each wide receiver. I don't think that's going to happen. So Brian Thomas's production is going to dip a little bit if this guy is mainly on offense. I don't think it's going to dip under 1,000 yards, though. So I think you should be okay if you're a Brian Thomas manager or if you're a Brian Thomas believer and you want to draft him this year. And I think you should also be excited for Travis Hunter to be on the offensive side of the ball. He is listed as a corner coming out of the draft, so it does ponder the question, does he play defense primarily and wide receiver secondarily? I think I would be scared then. I don't think I would be scared if he was primarily playing wide receiver. And they also had a couple draft picks. Wyan Milam, offensive guard out of West Virginia. Bashal Tutin was their running back out of West Virginia, or Virginia Tech, I'm sorry. And then they drafted a center out of USC and LeQuint Allen, another running back out of Syracuse. So Bashal Tutin coming from Virginia Tech makes you wonder what they're doing at the running back position, because they do have Travis Etienne, who is on the last year of his rookie deal, I believe. And they also have Tank Bigsby. Yeah, Tank Bigsby, who's behind him. And Tank Bigsby proved to be a very valuable running back when Etienne missed time. So I think Etienne still comes in as the starter this year because that's how it is and that's how they want it to be on paper and on the depth chart. So I would be very careful.
Six running backs, by the way.
Yeah, but I mean, they always have a lot of running backs get hurt all the time. They're going to cut like 2, 3.
I just think it's crazy that they have that many.
Well, I mean, like, okay, you have 3. Like, usually have 3.
You're going to dress 3 on a given day.
Right, and then if you
one on the practice squad.
If you drafted 2, that's 5, and then if you picked up like a late round, or if you pick up undrafted free agent, like that's 6. So it's just a matter of who actually makes the final cut. But these guys will be on the final cut, or Bashal Tutin will be on the final cut. I don't know about LeQuint
They have
Allen.
him listed as the 3rd, and then they have Allen as
the 5.
5 and 6 are like in the same spot.
Yeah.
They do have Travis listed as the slot wide receiver, and then they also have him listed as the left side cornerback as the 2nd on the depth chart on that. So
yeah, so they already came out saying we will find a way to play him on both sides of the ball. It's just a matter of if it is viable for him and the team, because we see it all the time. Like 18 games is a long, or 17 games is a long season for these guys. A lot of these guys can't even make it to week 8, week 9, week 10 without burning out, getting injured, dipping in production. Some guys are the opposite, where they go up in production, but not necessarily everybody's like that. And when you're the 2nd pick of the draft, obviously you're talented enough to be on the field for 17 games. But are you able to stay healthy is the big question here.
Okay, so an average team will snap the ball about 65 times on offense, and relatively similar to that on defense. So
right, so if you're playing 130 snaps,
yeah. So there's no way that happens.
No, there's absolutely
no way that happens, because part of being a good general manager or being a coach is protecting your assets, right?
Right.
So you have somebody that's very important to the team on both sides of the ball. You cannot afford to have him play that many snaps, because percentages are going to tell you he's going to get hurt. And based on the injury, you could very well be impacting this guy's career with the severity of it. So I don't think he should play on both sides of the ball. I'm going on record.
You're a big advocate for him not playing both sides of the ball.
But it's because I'm looking at his career.
You don't think it'd
be
fun to see, though?
Yes, it'd be fun to see. But I mean, like I'm thinking as his manager and his agent.
Okay, but you're not his manager. You'd be drafting him in fantasy.
I wish I was his manager. He came out up on the bag, my boy. Anyway, all I'm saying is that Like, I would be very, very cautious of doing that because, like I said, just the percentages of you getting hurt go through the roof. Right. And you need to protect this because in the NFL, the most important thing you can do as a player is get to that second contract.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, the average lifespan of a wide receiver, I think, or
a corner,
or anybody,
or
I think
position.
is like 3.5 years or something like that. So if you double your production, on paper, statistically, it cuts your time in half, which is only about a year. So I mean, obviously, that's not going to
Do I think he gets an interception at some point? Yes. Does he get a wide receiving touchdown? Yes.
A wide receiving touchdown,
or like a touchdown as a wide receiver? You know what I mean?
No, I get you.
Those two can be one and the same, but at the same time, he's not going to play 120 snaps. And that's all I'm getting at is because I feel like the average NFL fan doesn't care about snaps, but then it's like, dude, what do you mean?
No, it matters. It matters.
Like that's a big fucking ask for you to have a player playing on both sides of the ball. And let me tell you something. There's a reason why it never happens.
Yeah, I mean these guys can't even last on one side of the ball.
You
for
act
all
like
17 games.
You act like there hasn't been guys that come into the league before that are like, bro, I can play both. Like I'm good, and then the teams are like, chill, brother.
Do you remember that quarterback from UTEP? His last name was Showers.
Jamil Showers.
Was it Jamil Showers?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Didn't he have a brother though?
I don't know. He might have. There was a Showers that played at A&M too for a while.
Oh, okay. Well, Showers, I only remember the last name, but because he was quarterback at UTEP, and when he got drafted to the Cowboys, he actually played safety.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's two sides of the ball right there. It's not playing at the pro level at both sides of the ball.
And you're not starting either. So
right.
That's
but,
different.
I mean, if you're a talented athlete, you can play both sides of the ball. You can play any position if you're that talented. It's just a matter of at the professional level, can you sustain it? Is it sustainable for you? Is it sustainable for the team? And it's all about staying healthy, because if you can't stay healthy, you can't even play one side of the ball.
So moving on really fast, let's round out the AFC South here. We got the Colts and the Texans. The Colts actually had 8 picks, 4 on each side of the ball. I think you were were you big on Tyler Warren?
I was big on Tyler Warren.
Yeah. You were big on
I wasn't
Tyler
so
Warren.
big on Colston Loveland, but they had actually went opposite. Colston Loveland was drafted at 10. Tyler Warren was, I think, picked 14 to the Colts. So he was the number 1 tight end on everybody's board, coming from Penn State. And Colston Loveland was actually the second one. And a lot of people had Colston Loveland fall into the second round, maybe late first round, but he was actually the first tight end taken off the board, which was actually very surprising.
They also took Riley Leonard too from Notre Dame.
Yeah, they got a quarterback depth piece. Maybe he starts, maybe he doesn't. We don't know what the quarterback situation is in Indianapolis, which also makes me wonder if Tyler Warren is going to even get production there, because Jonathan Taylor is going to get production. That's just a given. He's one of the best running backs in the league. He's going to get 1,000 yards rushing, whether he's hurt or not, because that's how talented he is. It's the pass catching work that is very, I guess, skittish, or it scares me off. It makes me not want to draft anybody from the Colts on the passing attack, because
actually, their wide receivers are not as bad as you would think.
No, they're not bad. It's the quarterback.
Pierce.
It's the quarterback position that makes me.
So they got
scared.
4 household names here. They got Alec Pierce.
They got Adonai Mitchell, Michael Pittman Jr.
and Josh Downs.
And then you add Tyler Warren. So you have a talented team. It's just a matter of getting a quarterback in there that can play all 17 games and give you production for 17 games straight.
Mo Alley Cox, not a washover either at the tight end
Yeah,
position.
but he's already entering year 8, year 9.
Yeah, but still, it's just a steady pass catcher there.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Warren's going to take that production from him.
Well, he's already listed ahead of him as on the depth chart.
Yeah, that's a good. Plus,
Anthony
he's probably paid
Richardson,
more, taking 14 overall.
Anthony Richardson, and then Daniel Jones, and Riley Leonard, and Jason Bean. What a name, huh?
Jason Bean.
Jason Bean.
Shout out
my
Jason
guy.
Bean.
Loves him a good bean. That's your quarterback room at the moment in Indianapolis. So
Yeah, that's a rough quarter. So like I said, it's not the pass catchers that scare me. It's who's throwing them the ball that scares me, because
it's whoever's tossing that bean around.
Anthony Richardson has a cannon of an arm. I'm not taking that away from him. I hate you so much. He has a cannon of an arm. He can run fast. He's a hard runner, but that's what scares me the most is he's such a hard runner as a quarterback, and he's not necessarily like your Jaden Daniels or Lamar Jackson where he's so fast and shifty, he can get out of any tackle. This guy is going to put his shoulder down, and he's going to try and run over you.
His biggest question is, can he protect himself and the bean?
Jesus Christ, dude. Get out of here. Get out. The door's right there. Actually, I'm going to throw your ass through the window. Oh, my God.
Those were good. And they weren't forced either. Yo, chill, dude. Chill.
Oh, my bad.
Sorry, guys. Don't listen to him.
Those are homosexual.
Yeah, God. Chill out, dude. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, dude. Fucking Blue's here. Chill.
Blue's here.
We were at a comedy show the other day, me and Blue, and we were in front row, and they made fun of us as a gay couple.
Damn. Anyways. I can see it.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. The Texans. The Texans had 9 picks this year.
The Texans had great picks, actually.
3
they drafted
on defense, 6 on offensive side.
Right. So the 2 big exclamation marks in their draft were the wide receivers out of Iowa State. They were teammates, and they were drafted to the same team. Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll.
I think that's a bad thing because I'm sure these two are like, bro, I don't even fucking like you, brother. Like, and now we're going to
I actually
another
think
team?
it's the other way
You
around.
think they're homies and shit?
I think
you
they're
think
homies.
they follow each other on IG?
Look it up right now.
I gotta get on my IG. Hold on. Give me 15 minutes here.
15 minutes? I'll give it to you in
I don't
3.
know. I just think that's a funny take. Like, do these guys like each other, or like, are they pumped about being together on the same team, or is it like kind of like what I said? Like,
no, I think it's pumped about being on the same team. The only
The
only problem I see is that one of them might. I think Jalen Knoll is going to be the one that complains a little bit because he could be the wide receiver 3. You did sign Christian Kirk. Tank Dell's going to be out for the season, so your only pass catcher really is, Dalton Schultz at the tight end position, who hasn't really looked great with the Texans. But you have, are you okay? Oh, okay, sorry. You have, oh my God, why am I blanking?
You're talking about wide receivers from the Texans right now.
Yes.
So you have top 3 would be, I don't know about that.
Who's number 1?
Nico Collins.
I could not remember his name.
Tank Dell.
Yeah, so Nico Collins, everybody was big on last year because in the first 5 weeks or 7 weeks after Chris Godwin went down, actually, he was the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy, which excited everybody. He was going to be primed for a really big season, double-digit touchdowns, over like 1,200 receiving yards, and then he gets hurt for like 4 or 5 games. He gets placed on IR with a hamstring injury, and then he comes back and still puts up 1,000 yards in the season. So he's obviously a very talented wide receiver. I'm not super huge on him, but adding Jaden Higgins to that pass catching attack is really great for CJ Stroud. And then they also drafted a tackle out of Iowa State in Jalen Travis, which gives him a bolstered up line and could get him more protection to give him more time in the pocket to throw to these guys.
Really funny, really fast before we wrap up the Texans. I remember on one episode you had.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's not Jalen Travis. It was Ariante Esre. Sorry.
Yes. Okay. Anyways, we were talking about like notable players signing places, and you brought up Braxton Berrios. Braxton Berrios right now is listed as the number 3 slot receiver.
Oh my God! So what does that put him in the whole depth chart?
Dude,
like
that means you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th.
Dude, no way.
On the depth chart.
Oh my
and you were like, Braxton Berrios, bro, like not a bad guy. And I'm like, really?
Over under.
Really? Braxton Berrios.
Over under half a touchdown.
And I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like that is crazy.
Over under half a touchdown for Braxton Berrios on the season.
Holy shit.
It's just a matter of if he catches a touchdown or not. That's the line. Does he catch one?
Does he see the field?
Yes,
that's my thing.
I say he catches.
I'm going to say no.
He catches 1 touchdown.
Yeah, I say no. I go on under.
He catches 1 touchdown.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're gonna have to pick him up and put him on your fantasy team. Let him rot away on your bench. But no, I was just looking at that, and that made me laugh.
All right.
All right, AFC South. That's a wrap. There, we got 2 more divisions here.
Let's take a quick break.
If you want to.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break, and we will be right back.
All right, guys, we are back. The Sideline Podcast, episode 12, here with your boy, Mr. Adam Flowers, because that's what his name translates to, literally. Anyways, we are back, guys. We just recapped the first half of the draft for the AFC, And then we're going to round out with the last two divisions. I think it's two divisions left.
Yeah, the East and the West. Little side note, we were talking about Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, and you were like, oh, like they hate each other. And I was like, nah, like they follow each other on IG. They actually do follow each other on IG.
Nice.
Funny. They both follow the Texans too.
Nice. Well, obviously.
Obviously.
Right?
They're followed by the Texans too. So.
No shit. Anyways, guys. Thank you guys for being here for this episode. We're about halfway through, maybe more than halfway through.
More than halfway through.
Thank you guys for supporting the pod. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, especially on YouTube. Hit the notification bell. Show your friends. Comment on our shorts if you guys have something to say. If you don't agree, or if you agree with us, let us know in the comments. If you want to have a verbal sparring match with me, please at me, and we will do that all day, every day. But I usually do the verbal sparring at night, so like in the morning, it's going to be very like I'm not going to say anything.
Monotone.
Your comments are going to just sit and they're going to marinate, and then once I come around to it, I'm going to fucking roast you.
You're like, fuck these comments.
But anyways, thank you guys for being here. Blue, shout out to Blue for keeping the beers nice and cold today, guys. It's a Sunday. We got the NBA first round of the playoffs wrapping up today with the Warriors and the Rockets about to tip off here in about 3 hours. And we actually have another NBA game tipping off in about 45 minutes. So just a quick little update on what we got going on. With this episode will probably be out tonight or early Monday morning, depending on how the post-production goes. And, yeah, thank you guys for being here. Adam, thank you for that very knowledgeable bit of research there. We couldn't have ended the podcast without figuring out if these guys were following each other.
It was going to be on my mind all night.
Thank
I
God
couldn't
you
sleep
did
without
that.
it.
I mean, I don't know where we would be without you, honestly. I don't know where I would be without you.
I don't know where you would be either. But let's start with the AFC East. We
Probably
got
the worst
Patriots.
division in the NFL, by the way.
All right, relax. You know what? You just don't talk throughout the entire time I'm talking about the Patriots. How about
That's
that?
fine.
Okay.
I will do everything but talk. Or
All right.
actually, I'll do something funnier than that.
Oh, my
But
God.
anyways, how about you start with the AFC
I'll start with
East?
the Patriots, yeah.
You're going to start with the Patriots?
I'm going to start with the Patriots
Yeah,
because they
but
were
what
the
about the
highest
Buffalo
pick.
Bills, though?
They were the highest draft pick.
The New York Jets?
Womp womp.
The stinking Jets?
Womp
You know what I
womp.
mean? Okay, start. Go ahead.
All right, so we
I'm
got
not
the
gonna say
Patriots,
anything.
11 picks. They had 4 defense, 2 special teams, 5 offense. So they got a haul of picks. They got Will Campbell, offensive tackle out of LSU. He was the 4th overall pick in the draft, which I absolutely loved. There's a clip on him where he's talking to, I don't remember who he's talking to, but he's on the stage and she's like, oh, what do you bring to this team and blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, I'm going to fight and die to protect Drake May. And I'm like, dude, if you're a Patriots fan and you saw that clip, like you should be absolutely hyped about this guy protecting Drake May because that dude's going to be taking naps in the pocket if this dude's covering him. So they also drafted Travion Henderson with their second pick, with their second pick in the second day. We got Travion Henderson, running back out of Ohio State. I think this is where we find one of our losers in the draft in Ramondre Stevenson because Travion Henderson is he's not just a one-trick pony. He's a kind of wild card. He does everything. He pass catches. He's quick. He's elusive. He can also be a hard-nosed runner when he needs to be. He'll put his helmet down and try and run someone over whether he can or not. He's going to try. And that's just who Travion Henderson is. So I think I'm absolutely excited for Travion Henderson. And bye-bye Ramondre Stevenson for fantasy value. They did sign him to his extension, which is kind of, I would say like confusing and alarming at the same time. Because when you're extending someone, especially at the running back position for as much as they paid him, obviously they believe in him for the future. But I don't know if I would believe in him for fantasy value. I think his fantasy value definitely goes down in the market this year, and I think Travion Henderson booms. We also got Kyle Williams, wide receiver out of Washington State, and there's clips of him just running right past Travis Hunter when they played Colorado. So if he can run past the first corner taken off the board, obviously he's talented enough to maybe be a valuable asset for Drake May. Dude, what are you doing looking up hieroglyphs over there? Oh my God. He's studying Egypt over here while I'm talking
that's
about
not what
Patriots.
I'm doing. I'm doing something funny, but I'm waiting for you to finish.
Okay, well, and then we got one
But
more
you're just
pick.
going to finish the Patriots, and then I'm going to come
Yeah,
in
yeah.
with
And
this.
then Marcus Bryant, offensive tackle out of Missouri, but that's about it. I'm excited for Kyle Williams. I'm excited for Will Campbell, and I'm excited for Travion Henderson. So what do you have to say? Jesus Christ.
Okay, so tell me, what city and state is the wonderful New England Patriots football team located in?
Boston, Massachusetts.
Wrong. They are in Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Foxborough.
Okay.
Same shit.
Fun fact about Foxborough here. Let me get into this. In the year 1915, the population of Foxborough was a whopping 3,755 persons. You guys want another one? I could keep going if you want me to.
Let's just move on to the Jets. They had 7 picks, 4 on defense, 3 on offense.
I had another one that was good. Hold on, let me see. Where was it?
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, the Foxborough Water and Sewer Reorganization Act of 1986 approved the creation of the Foxborough Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners. Did you know that the population of Foxborough in 1850 was a whopping 1,880? Did you know that there are more than 10 cemeteries in the city of Foxborough?
Dude, I'm about to walk off this.
Bro, that's a lot of cemeteries.
Dude, we have like 7 here.
Bro, it's Foxborough. They're the size of the Northeast.
And we're just El Paso.
Bro, Foxborough literally would fit on the northeast side of town. Literally.
Dead ass.
Literally
Okay, so
would, dead ass. And they have more than 10 cemeteries there. That's crazy.
I don't think that's crazy.
Bro, what do you mean? The population was 7,000 people like in the 50s. That's fucking wild.
Dude, I just yawned.
You're about to get muted, son. Anyway.
I just yawned listening to this.
Foxborough was legally incorporated on June 10th, 1778. Fun facts about Foxborough. All of those were way more interesting than anything you said about any of the draft picks.
Oh my!
I didn't hear a single word you said about any of those. Who's Will Campbell? Just kidding. All right. Moving on to the Jets, the New York Jets. Adam hates me right now. Hey, look, you told me to not talk during the whole Patriots scene. So I didn't, but I stayed relevant and, went to the city of Foxborough.
I don't even want to talk anymore.
Oh, but you'll do a 5-hour live stream. Shut the hell up. Get out of here. All right, what do you have to say about the Jets? The New York stinking Jets.
The Jets are making the playoffs. No, I'm just kidding.
They're making the playoffs?
Nah, they missed the playoffs. But they had
Of course
7...
they missed the playoffs. It's the Jets.
Yeah, of course. That's just a given. They had 7 picks, 4 defense, 3 offense. Their first pick went to Armand Membu, offensive tackle out of Mizzou.
The Jets.
We got Mason Taylor, who was I believe he was the 3rd tight end taken off the board out of LSU. And then we got Arian Smith, wide receiver out of Georgia. So wide receiver out of Georgia, Arian Smith, I mean, he is a Georgia wide receiver, so he obviously had some run-ins with potential pros at corner. So
like every weekend.
Yeah, I mean.
Like every week you're playing in the
SEC.
SEC.
Basically every weekend. Is it SEC or is it Big Ten that they're in?
Who?
Georgia?
No, they're in the SEC, son.
They're SEC?
Yeah,
That's
come
my
on.
bad.
That was ridiculous. That was slander at the highest degree.
Whoa.
You just said that SEC was, or that Georgia was in the Big Ten?
I asked. I didn't say that they were.
Talking about not knowing ball.
Dude,
folks.
you're fucking, all I see is I look over and it looks like you're looking at hieroglyphs on the Egyptian pyramids.
No, they were
Like,
Foxborough
that's what it
stats.
looked like.
Sorry that fucking Foxborough has been around forever. That's
Well,
actually
yeah,
pretty
but
cool.
I mean, like.
That's actually commendable.
All right. Jets, I think Mason Taylor was I think Armand Membu and Mason Taylor were both great picks with their or 2 of their 3 offensive picks. Armand Membu is going to be a great asset to their line. They also got I can't remember his name, but they also had a high draft pick last year, and they also went tackle. So they're just bolstering up that line for the foreseeable future. And whether Justin Fields is the answer in New York or not,
He's not.
Dude, can you just dude, oh my God. You're like getting under my skin. This is like rage bait right here. And I'm falling for it. This is straight rage
I'm just
bait.
messing with you, man. I'm just messing with you.
Anyways, Mason Taylor, I think he's also going to be a valuable asset for fantasy. Justin Fields is going to be chucking that ball 40 times a game because they're not going to have any help. They're just going to be trailing every single game. So they're going to be throwing a lot. I'm scared for Breece Hall this year because Breece Hall was not a top 5 running back when he was supposed to be last year. He wasn't even a top 10, I don't think. I think he fell outside of the top 10. So that's very scary to talk about. They also, I think, were looking at potentially trading him. They had put him on the trade block before the draft. I don't know if they are still interested in trading him or not, but that was something to look out for. So if Mason Taylor is added to that passing attack along with Garrett Wilson, I think it could be great. I think it could open up a lot of the floor for both of these guys, because if you got one guy on one side and the other guy on the other side, obviously you can only cover one at a time with two people. So it'll be great for one or the other of these guys.
He's listed tight end 1 already.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be tight end 1.
Josh Reynolds actually with the Jets now too, so that'll be interesting. He's going to be
Josh Reynolds from the Lions?
Yeah, he's with the Jets now. Well, actually, it says he was with Jacksonville last year, so I guess that's a different Josh
He was
Reynolds.
with Jacksonville?
That's what it says. That's what I'm looking at here.
No way.
Because it tells you the former team or school that they were at before the team that they're with now, and it says Josh Reynolds, Jacksonville. I don't know. Anyways, interesting there, but yeah, like your boy Mason Tyler, like I said, already listed number 1 tight end on the roster. And then, of course, we all know the QB situation. Justin Fields listed number 1 on the depth chart already.
Yeah, I mean, he's QB1. Obviously, they didn't take a quarterback in the draft, so they have confidence in Justin Fields being their quarterback for this upcoming season. It's just a matter of if they see him as their quarterback for the foreseeable future.
That is crazy being an NFL team, and you're rolling into your season with Justin Fields, Tyrod Taylor, and then 2 other rookies that we've never heard of.
Which is?
I don't know if this guy's a rookie, but Adrian Martinez and Brady Cook.
Oh, Brady Cook was this year's draft, I think.
So that's interesting.
Oh, shit.
That you're okay as a team, like, we're good with these guys.
Oh,
We're
mate.
fine. We don't need
It's just
Aaron
like-
Rodgers.
Yeah, it's just like the only scary part is that if Justin Fields goes down, it's like
That's what I'm saying. There's like
who's
your
coming
backup isn't even like you don't even know like what you have there.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's the Jets for you. How many seasons have the Jets been in the NFL?
Oh, is that like a trivia?
I'm just asking. I know. Right? I'm looking at it.
67.
65, and they've only won 1 Super Bowl, and their playoff record is 12-13.
Shout out Joe Namath.
Shout out to the New York Jets. Moving on here, we got the everybody's favorite, the Miami Dolphins.
Oh my God. Get out of here.
Everybody's
bro.
favorite.
Everybody hates the Dolphins.
Favorite to win the division, the Miami
Dude,
Dolphins.
no, they're not. They're probably favorites to lose the division this year.
Dude, I
they
hate
had
this
8 picks,
division.
5 on defense, 3 on offense. Jonas Savanea, offensive guard.
Offensive guard from
Guard
Arizona.
out of Arizona. We got Ollie Gordon, running back from Oklahoma State, and Quinn Ewers as
the Big
quarterback.
Q.
So next team.
Yeah, next team. No, for real.
No, literally, like there's not much to talk
not-
about the Dolphins.
Yeah, and Quinn Ewers. Please shy away from him, guys.
I think
know.
I think a big winner from the Dolphins would be Devon Achane, because there's no real running back alpha that they drafted to potentially take his workload away.
Right.
That's about it,
But
really.
yeah, and like I said, do not stay away from Quinn Ewers, please, guys.
Yeah, please.
I know some of you guys, big Texas Longhorn fans, for no fucking reason.
Are you talking about Nick?
I'm not. His name may rhyme with Rick, but I'm not taking shots at anybody that may have grown up in El Paso and moved to San Antonio in the recent years.
Rick, Dick, Lakers in 5.
Rick, Dick, Quinn Ewers ain't it.
Lakers in 5.
Do not draft the guy. Make sure he's not on your roster anywhere for fantasy purposes. I was super disappointed in all the hype the guy had, and to see the way he played was very, very, very humbling in my eyes.
Yeah.
So stay away from him. And the Dolphins, not much to write home about. So let's move on to the Bills here. 9 picks in total.
Not much to say here either. Next team, basically.
Let's see.
The Bills, they had 9 picks. They went primarily defense, which shows that they have confidence in their offense that they have.
And protecting, they're going to protect
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. With,
Yeah, I mean, they signed Josh
tackle
Allen to
pick.
that monstrous extension. So Josh Allen is obviously your QB1 going into the season. You got James Cook. Or is it James? Yeah,
Yes.
James Cook, running back going into the season again. And then your wide receiver 1, I mean, they didn't re-sign Amari Cooper, so I think their wide receiver 1 would be Keon Coleman going into the season.
Keon Coleman, Joshua Palmer.
Yeah, and then, I forgot they got
Khalil
Josh Palmer.
Shakir, Curtis Samuel's
No,
on
Khalil Shakir's not on the team anymore, is he?
It says he's right here. Curtis Samuel, Elijah Moore.
Oh, I'm thinking about Matt Collins. Never mind.
No, he's on the team.
Matt Collins signed with the Patriots, actually. He went to a division rival.
Yeah. But Khalil Shakir is still there. And then Curtis Samuel and Elijah Moore, other notable wide receivers on the team here.
That's and then Dalton Kincaid is going to be your tight end. How do you view Dalton Kincaid going into this year? Because he's
actually listed as number 2 on the depth chart. They have Dawson Knox, but he's more of like a blocking tight end.
Yeah, he's more of a blocking tight end now. Dalton Kincaid is the pass catcher out of the two.
He's the passing tight end.
Right.
James Cook, Ty Johnson, Ray Davis, Darrington Evans, and Frank Gore Jr. On the fucking running back list.
How do you view Kincaid? Because last year he was projected to be like the 3rd best tight end, but clearly that wasn't it. So how do you see him going into this coming year? Do you see him as a top 5 tight end?
No, top 10, I would say.
Top 10?
Yeah.
Top 10, top 12?
It's because it's tight end, dude. Top 10 is fine.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. So what do you think, like maybe 9?
Like the lower end of 10. So yeah, like 9, 10, 8 through 10, somewhere in there.
Okay, I'll go 9 through 12. That's mine.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Sounds about white.
He'll be on a... Dude, you're so...
Dalton Kincaid, son. Come on. There's not that many white players in the NFL. I got to get it.
Yes, there is, dude.
Skill position? No.
Yes.
Exactly. White skill position players. What? Go ahead. I'll sit here all day while you name 5.
Okay, well, technically quarterback is a skill position.
No.
So there's...
No.
Yes.
Okay, other than quarterback.
Okay, then no.
White wide receivers, running backs,
Hunter
and tight ends.
Renfro. Shout out Hunter Renfro.
Okay,
Signed with the...
There's one.
Kincaid.
Kincaid is 2.
Knox.
You're just naming guys that I just named.
Travis Kelce.
Okay.
Brock Bowers.
Okay,
Trey McBride.
There's 5, 6. Okay. We're getting to 10 here.
Oh, shit. Christian McCaffrey.
Keep going.
Cooper Kupp.
Puka
Nakua.
He's a light skin. So.
Okay, but his complexion is white. His complexion is white.
Braxton Berrios.
Oh, and Braxton Berrios. There you go. That's 10.
There we go. Wow.
There you go.
Okay, I was wrong.
Yeah. And that's non-quarterbacks. 2 of them are on the Bills.
And none of them are fantasy relevant, by the way.
Yes.
Just kidding. I know it was a joke.
All the tight ends. Oh,
Yeah,
Sam
all the
Laporta.
tight ends.
Sam Laporta.
Sam Laporta.
Cole Kmet. I should have just gone all tight ends.
Okay, I should exclude tight ends next time. And then you'd be nowhere with this.
Yeah, I would be no.
Good God. What's his? We forgot the guy from
Dalton Schultz.
No, yeah, well, him, but
Luke
we also
Schoonmaker. Dude, they're all white.
we also forgot the guy Kittle, George Kittle.
Oh, George Kittle?
Yeah, probably the best one.
Probably, yeah.
Him and McCaffrey. They're on the same
missed
team.
him.
Wow, look at that.
Wow, look at
anyways, moving on from the Bills here.
Oh, my God.
Let's wrap up the last division, AFC West. We got the Raiders with 11 picks, 4 on offense.
Actually, you want to talk
4 on
about
defense,
you want to
7
talk
on
about a
offense.
white wide receiver? There's Jack Besh out of TCU. He went to the Raiders.
There you go. Another one.
Yeah, there's another one. But we actually got Ashton Gency to talk about, running back out of Boise State. There's a lot to talk about this guy, but there's not much more to talk about when he's obviously the first running back taken off the board, and he's projected to be a 1,400-yard rusher right out of the gate, which might be a little high, but I think it's fair to say because of the production that he put up in Boise. So, I mean, clearly when you're the first running back taken off the board, your hit rate is going to be through the roof. So you're projected to be a top running back. You are going to be a top running back. Jack Besh, wide receiver out of TCU, they also took. And then they took a couple tackles. They got Caleb Rogers out of Tech. Charles Grant out of William and Mary. Shout out William and Mary.
Where's that at?
I have no idea. I'm going to say Texas.
It is in Texas.
And then you got Dante Thornton Jr., wide receiver out of Tennessee. Tommy Mellett, wide receiver out of Montana State. And then Cam Miller, quarterback out of North Dakota State. So they were also a favorite to draft Shedeur Sanders if he were to have fallen to them. But clearly that didn't happen. It did fall their way multiple times, and they just decided to pass up on him. Same thing with Jalen Milroe. There was rumors that Jalen Milroe might be able to go to them, and obviously we didn't see that either. So the Seahawks, I think, could have potentially won in getting Jalen Milroe, but we'll talk about him next episode.
Holy wide receiver room.
Yeah, they got a crazy wide receiver.
Trey
room.
Tucker,
Tucker.
Jack Beck, Jacoby Myers.
I think it's Besh, is it?
I don't know.
Jack Besh? Jack Beck? Jack Besh?
Besh. Dante Thornton Jr., Colin Johnson, Tommy Malone, Christian Wilkerson, Tyreek McAllister, Alex Bachman, Shedrick Jackson, and Zachary Franklin.
You're also missing Jacoby Myers, too.
No, I said Jacoby already.
No,
He's the number 3. I said him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I didn't
looking
hear
at him
that.
right here. Jacoby Myers.
Oh,
Probably the only household name in there.
probably.
So that's
And
crazy.
Trey Tucker, too.
Geno Smith, Aiden O'Connell, Cam
Are
Miller,
you excited for the
and
Raiders
Carter
this
Bradley.
season? Are
Not at all. Not,
Dude,
I
it's
mean,
just because,
outside
like-
of
okay, on
outside of
paper-
Ashton, right?
No, on paper, they could be exciting. Because, like, Jacoby Myers isn't your alpha wide receiver, right? He's not your 1,500-yard, 20-touchdown receiver.
There's
but
nothing to be excited
he
about here.
could be a 1,000-yard receiver. He could be a 6-touchdown guy. So he could be valuable this year. Now that you have Geno Smith at the helm and he's going to be getting him the rock, he's going to be getting Brock the Cock Bowers the rock.
The bean.
Dude, Jesus Christ. Gotta stop with your bean shit. And then Ashton Genty obviously is going to be the focal point of this offense. He's going to be the bell cow. He's going to be a 4-down back. He's not going to be a 3-down back. He's going to be a 4-down back. That's what he's going to be.
Probably one of the most important handcuffs will be Raheem Mostert.
Who's behind Raheem?
Sincere McCormick.
Sincere McCormick is going to be the handcuff.
Nah, I would say Raheem. Or
Is Raheem Mostert's-
Zamir White as well. He's been around.
Dude,
so.
don't even get me started on Zamir White. He pissed me off.
I'm
last
just saying,
week.
if
No,
you
he's
have
not. He's
if
not.
you draft Genty,
You
then
draft
you need
Sincere.
to have at least one of those other running backs.
I go Sincere.
and it's going to be hard to
Dude,
decipher
Raheem
which
Mostert
one.
is what, like 33 already?
Yeah, I know, but I mean, he's a proven vet.
Nope.
I mean, that has value to it. So,
Outside of his 20 rushing touchdowns like 2 years ago.
all I'm saying, just handcuff Genty somehow. That's all I'm saying. That's it. Other than that, not too excited about the Raiders. Moving on, Broncos 7 picks here. 3 defense and 1 special team and 3 offensive players. RG Harvey from UCF, the Golden Knights.
Yeah, I mean, they took their. This was the running back that nobody expected the Broncos to take. Everybody thought they were going to go. They were going to trade up for Genty, or they were going to get Omarion Hampton, or even Caleb Johnson, or Travion Henderson, any one of the household names. And nobody expected them to take RJ Harvey out of UCF. So Sean Payton came out saying that this was the guy that he wanted, that he watched so much tape on him, that he was his favorite. I don't know how that's going to pan out. I really don't know who RJ Harvey is, truth be told. They also went Caleb Lawner, tight end at Utah, and then Pat Bryant, wide receiver out of Illinois. So there's not much to say draft-wise about the Broncos, but I would be excited for the Broncos this year. I mean, you still got Cortland Sutton. You got, I guess now RJ Harvey. You got Bo Nix. And then they also signed Evan Ingram from the Jags. So that should be fun to watch next year. But I think next team is way more exciting, and that would be the Chargers. They had 9 picks, 4 on defense, 5 on offense, and they took my favorite running back out of this class outside of Genty, which was Omarion Hampton. And like I had said, that this guy could be a first-rounder, and he, sure enough, went in the first round. I think it was picked 22 or 23, running back out of UNC. He had back-to-back years of 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns. So that's something to be excited for. They also took Trey Harris, wide receiver out of Ole Miss, and he was also my honorable mention on the previous video that we did when we were talking about the class. So these were 2 guys that I were high on, and they both went to the same team. Congrats to both of them, because they're going to go to a talented offense. They're going to go to where there's a bolstered up line, and they have one of the most talented lines in the league. They have one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league in Justin Herbert, and they have one of the most proven head coaches in the league in Harbaugh. So this is a great situation for both of these guys, Hampton and Trey Harris. And then they also got some fillers. They got Andre Gadsden II out of Syracuse, tight end, Branson Taylor, offensive tackle out of Pittsburgh, and Keandre Lambert-Smith, wide receiver out of Auburn. What do you think about the Chargers this coming year? I'm excited for the Chargers this year. I think if they were a playoff team without these guys, they could make a run with these guys.
Well, I mean, we already gave you the nickname Adam Omarion Flotus because of how much you like this guy. So I will make a wager on him later on as we get closer to the season. Maybe we'll do like either his touchdowns or his yards.
Well, I already got his yards.
Well, yeah,
I
but we'll
showed
do another one like officially on the pod, and we'll like write it down and shit.
Yeah.
But other than that, like you said, pretty solid draft for them. At some point, you're gonna have to tell Justin Herbert, that we need more from you, though. That's the biggest thing in my eyes.
I mean, he's been called Mr. What If in the league because everybody's like, oh, he's a top 5 quarterback. Well, if he's a top 5 quarterback, he can't even win a playoff game. So that's the hate that he's been getting or the backlash that he's been getting. But
I mean, they do it to Dak all the time, so why can't we do it to this guy?
I mean, no, that's fair. I mean, when you put somebody in a top 5 conversation, that you have to have something to back it up.
Right.
But I mean, the case could be made for a lot of players. I mean, not every quarterback can win a Super Bowl every year, especially when you're behind Patrick Mahomes. Like, Patrick Mahomes has been running the AFC for the past 8 years.
Yep.
So, I mean, Josh Allen, you could say the same thing about him. Well, if he's a top 5 quarterback, why can't he win a Super Bowl? Well, you can't get past Patrick Mahomes. That's
and it
just
also
how it is.
it's unfortunate that these guys had to play in the same era as Brady and then Mahomes. Like, it's just like no break.
There's no break at all. You just have dominance out of these guys.
And then on the NFC side, it's like, well, whoever wants to come.
The worst part about it is that Herbert is in the exact same not only conference but division as Pat Mahomes. So you play him twice a year.
Yep.
So like it's unfortunate situations, but that's sometimes how it goes.
So wrap it up with the last team here.
We got the last team here, the Chiefs. They got 7 picks, 4 on defense, 3 on offense, and that's the video.
Well, yeah, I mean, not much.
The Chiefs, not much to talk about. They got a wide receiver, a running back, and an offensive tackle. Their offensive tackle was like the most projected pick out of everybody. Even when they traded back, they still got who everybody projected them to get, which was Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. They got Jalen Royals, wide receiver out of Utah. He looks all right. He kind of just looks like a depth piece. And then Brashard Smith, running back out of SMU. Truth be told, I don't know this name. I don't know how good this kid is. I don't know how he's going to be moving forward, but I think Isaiah Pacheco is probably still going to be the starter for next year. It's just a matter of if he produces, because last year he was coming off of a broken fibula or tibia. I don't remember which one it was. So, I mean, a broken bone is not something to take lightly, but the fact that he did come back and he didn't produce whatsoever kind of concerned a lot of people. So coming into this next year, I think we should be okay to, I wouldn't draft him like first, second round, but he is somebody that you can go and get maybe a value piece in like the 4th round if he does fall because of what happened last year, or even like the 6th round. If he falls all the way to 6th round, draft him. Just draft him. Like, don't think twice about it. People are going to be scared to draft him, but I think he is still going to be the bell cow there. And maybe not bell cow, but he's going to be the number 1 option when it comes to running back next year.
Well, I don't know. I'm okay on the Chiefs right now. I don't have much to
and
say
then like
on
their wide receivers. I mean, Rashee Rice is still going to be coming back from his injury. He did tear his ACL like week 3 last year, so he should be good to go week 1 because it happened so early into the season. Xavier Worthy, we did see a little bit of a breakout from him at the very back end of the season, and then they re-signed Hollywood Brown. Travis Kelce's coming back for another year, so that offense is still primed to go for another playoff run, maybe even a Super Bowl run. Like, they lost pretty much nobody. Actually, correction, they lost like 2 people on the offensive line, but now getting Josh Simmons, this tackle out of Ohio State, that's one guy that they lost basically. It's a plug and play for the Chiefs. Andy Reid is one of the most talented head coaches we've ever seen in the league. So we've seen that he can do it with basically anybody. Like, we've seen the Chiefs win a Super Bowl with every weapon possible, and we've seen the Chiefs win a Super Bowl with no weapons whatsoever, literally back-to-back years. So these guys can do anything. Never count Mahomes out, never count Andy Reid out, as long as they're playing together.
Couldn't have said it better, my friend.
So I think that does it. Any other thoughts on the AFC West here?
No, not on that. I do want to give out a line for the on Prize Picks.
Yeah,
for anybody that wants to participate in the bets for Monday.
We are not sponsored, so we're not going to shout out exactly which platform we're doing it on.
No, we have to because because the lines change by the platform.
Well,
so
let's just say we're going to make a bet on a betting app
that starts with the P.
That starts with a P.
And purple logo, by the way.
And a purple logo.
So I have one cooked up. Do you want to cook one up really fast?
I can do one really quick if you give me a couple minutes.
Okay, so I'm going to stall for a little bit, but I'm going to get into mine. And this game is tomorrow's matchup between the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. And hopefully this episode will be out by tonight. So if you listen,
well, I'll do one for Denver and OKC then. How about that?
Yeah, that's fine. So pretty much, guys, if you guys are new to Prize Picks or the way that this works, is you don't bet on the result of the game. So you don't bet if the Knicks are going to beat the Celtics or vice versa. What you bet on are player props. And there's different props. There's rebounds, assists, points, rebounds, and assists, three-pointers made, free throws attempted. There's props for everything. Pretty much what they do is they give you a player, they set his line, and you either go over or under. And you either hit or you don't. And the more lines in your parlay that you put, the higher your payout is, but the less likely you are to hit a 6-line compared to like a 3-line or a 2-line or whatever the case may be. So those are just some things to consider when you're doing these types of picks. Is if you want to do lower lines, just be willing to wager more money so that way you can get a better return, because your payout's only going to be 2.8, 3.2x, something like that. Where if you were to do like a 6-line, your payout will probably be about 10.8x or 11x, but you need to hit on every single one of them, which is inherently harder to do. So I'm just kind of breaking it down because I didn't know anything about this until Blue actually showed me this app. And then I started using it and started actually getting more into the games because of it. And so I'm just trying to break it down for you guys because it is intimidating if you don't know how to use it, if you've never used it before. Just, try it out if you want. We're not promoting gambling in the sense where we want people to go broke, but it does make the games a little funner. So
right, gamble responsibly. Gamble what you can afford to lose.
Exactly. And so, like I said, guys, the lines that I'm going for, and this is going to be for Monday night's game between the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks, game 1 of the second round of the NBA playoffs. I have Derek White, who's the point guard for the Boston Celtics, at over 7.5 rebounds and assists. So if he gets 8, then he hits, and that's like a combo of rebounds and assists. The second line that I'm using is OG Anunoby, 3.5 rebounds. I'm going over on that. And then the last one I'm doing is Jalen Brunson, 37.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Brunson usually fills it up, so that's a very, very favorable line right there. And those are my picks for the game on Monday. That's what I'm riding with. If you guys want to tell me, feel free. Or if you guys want to use one or two of those lines, that's fine as well. Adam, what do you got?
Yeah, so I got one cooked up for the Denver and OKC game, which is going to be on Monday, which is tomorrow at 7:40 p.m. I have Chet Holmgren going over 14.5 points on the game. I have Russell Westbrook going over 9.5 points on the game. And I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander going over 30.5 points for the game. Damn. So I think all of those feel really good. Shai is like the most consistent 31, 32 point scorer ever. Russell Westbrook is an easy 10 points. If he gets 2 simple rebounds and puts them back in the bucket and he gets a 3, he's already there. Like it's that easy. You get a 3 and then you get 2 buckets, 3 buckets, and you're right there at 10 points. Chet Holmgren, 15 points. That seems super easy for him. He's a paint merchant. He's a mid-range merchant. He's going to be able to get those knockdown buckets. So I think he absolutely gets 15 points. So like Chris said, if you guys want to tail us. But remember, gamble responsibly. Always gamble what you can afford to lose.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it too.
Nice. There you go.
So I think that just about wraps up our episode 12 of the Sideline Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. We will catch you next week with another beautiful episode. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, turn on that bell for the notifications. And we are out.
Dub Nation, let's go.
Peace.